But the plane, it's gonna blow up, it's gonna blow up.
Hi guys, and welcome back to my Final Destination movie reviews. Today what we're going to do is we're going to rank the opening premonitions.
Everybody's a suspect!
Coming to get you, Bobber.
I decided to rank the opening premonitions for the Final Destination movies because sometimes the premonitions are better than the overall movies, so the rankings for this is going to be different to my rankings for the overall movies. And I feel like some of the premonitions were so good that it felt like it was a shame to put the movies lower on a list, so that's why I decided let's just rank the premonitions at the beginning. We're not going to rank any of the mid premonitions or the kills, it's just the initial first premonitions of each movie. And at number 5, and again no surprise, is the premonition at the beginning of the Final Destination. And again, it felt cheap, it felt rushed, it felt like all the camera angles were wrong, and that's obviously due to the 3D aspect of the movie. It was filmed knowing that they were going to convert it to 3D, so they shot it in a way that the 3D would work. The 3D aspect did work when you see it in the cinema, but if you're watching it at home or you can't be bothered with 3D, some of the angles you're looking at, you're like, this doesn't make sense. And because it was so rushed and they aimed that at the 3D aspect, what they forgot to do was give us a look at the characters, give us a build-up of the characters. They couldn't do it. They gave us a build-up of the 4 main characters, with some of them roundabout, but you don't get a lot of information, not as much as you do with the previous or the future movies. So for that reason, that is last on the list.
Have you all lost your fucking mind?
And then number 4 is the premonition from Final Destination 3. Just like my rankings of the movies, from 4 upwards are fantastic. I really like the premonition at the beginning of every movie, apart from the Final Destination. This one, I really like the roller coaster one. My only negative would be the roller coaster accident felt like it was too long. Obviously for movie purposes it was good that it was long, but for realistic purposes, how long does it take for a roller coaster to do what it had to do? I liked the build up of the characters, I liked the build up of going onto that roller coaster, because we knew as the viewer that they're all going to die in this premonition. So I like the build up, and again, just like some of the strong ones in the franchise, you need good character development and a good character build up. And I like the build up of the characters in part 3. Also, I did like, even though it was prolonged, I did like the roller coaster crash. It felt realistic, even though it was prolonged. And I felt like even though we knew they were going to survive the premonition, I didn't want them to die in the premonition because I already cared for the characters. To do a roller coaster crash though in a Final Destination movie, it took a lot of guts and a lot of creativity, and they had both. And then number 3 is the premonition at the start of Final Destination 5. Now this one, like I mentioned in the review, it looked like the biggest scale and the biggest budget of any of the Final Destination movies, and that might be wrong, but it just looked like the biggest one. It was all shot on a stage and all the green screen and stuff, and I think it looked spectacular. I think the only reason it's the middle of the road for me is because it looks like an accident that could or probably does happen every day in the world, whereas the other ones are more unique. But I still enjoyed it, and I still enjoyed it for the reasons that I enjoyed all the other ones, is that we've got good character development, and I keep mentioning character development, but that is key at the beginning of these films, because when they wake up from these premonitions, we need to then go on a journey with these characters. So for that reason, Final Destination 5 done it really well. And then number 2 is the premonition from Final Destination. Obviously we give it props for being the first in the franchise to do this. I didn't really see it coming. I had an idea, but I didn't see it coming in the way that it did happen. So for the surprise factor, it's obviously high up on the list. It did feel short, felt low budget, and the actual way that it happened was over in an instant. But again, I do like the build up of it. I'm scared of going on planes. I go on planes, but I'm really scared of it, and I think watching Final Destination made not just me scared of flying again, it probably made millions of people scared of going on an aeroplane again. So if a movie has that impact on you, it had to have done its job. And at number 1 is the Premonition from Final Destination 2. Now this is the second Premonition in the franchise, and the key part of a successful franchise is doing something bigger and better than the previous movies. You might not be able to outdo it for originality and overall satisfaction, but what you can do is make it on a bigger scale. And Final Destination 2's Premonition at the start done a couple of things. It did make it bigger, it did make it better, it made it longer, and also, and I mention this all the time, is the character development. Out of all of the Final Destination movies, in that, it wasn't really short, but in that short Premonition, I got to know every single character that I'm going to see after the Premonition was over, and that's hard to do in the space of 2-3 minutes, but they managed to do it because I saw them all and I thought, right, okay, it's given me a little bit of a story. Like, you see the guy who won the lottery, he looks like a bit of an idiot, so you know that he's probably going to die first, or one of the first ones to die, and he was. So you just get a little snippet of each character, and they've done it well. And again, when you talk about being scared of going on an aeroplane because of what happened in part 1, these days people are scared to drive behind these lorries with the logs on them because of what happened in the Premonition of Final Destination 2. So that is my rankings of the opening premonitions of the entire Final Destination franchise. I think what's different about this ranking is there's a lot of room for debate on this ranking, whereas my ranking for the movies, it's sort of kind of the ranking that a lot of people would do, I'm expecting. But whereas this one, depending on your preferences, your fears, then this ranking could be completely different. So that's where the interesting part comes in, guys. How does your ranking of the opening premonitions differ from mine? As always, leave your comments down below, let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.